Marianne, it's time for one more sip. Is that a good introduction? This is a new format.
I think that's good. One more sip of the garden mixer on one topic.
One topic. And we stuck to it. We're 1 for 1. On the first one, when we talked about poisonous plant freak out, we did very well. And today's topic is?
Yeah, let's go for the win with
What should we call it? We didn't think of a title. We just thought of a topic.
crazy horticultural advice. No, trending TikToks.
Don't be caught up by influencers' advice, which may or may not be good.
No, that's very judgmental. Hold
And
on.
very long, not catchy.
All right, let's just I think we'll get a title by the end of this. Let's just lay it out.
Okay.
Leslie sends me a reel on Instagram with a new plant app or an old plant app that you just scan your plant, your dead or dying plant, and it immediately tells you based on that scan what you need to do for it. And those things that you need to do for it are things like add sugar water or add coffee or
Just add water, which,
add
I believe
water.
that one. Yeah.
We believe that. It's not that simple, folks. And there's no why. It's just this is all you have to do. You just take your phone, you just scan it, and it tells you what to do, which is going to be really simple. Here's your sugar. Oh, and it shows you sugar, water. Stir it, and then you put the sugar in there and everything's happy and all of a sudden and they literally have a plant that is now blooming and beautiful. So I don't think it was blooming, it was just incredibly healthy. Like I made this one earlier. And this stuff, it comes and I ignore a lot of it. And you made me have to sit through that with the irritating music as well.
Sorry, not sorry. And true confessions, I only watched the first 3.5 seconds of it and said, Marianne needs to see this. And I went off and did something else.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much.
Uh-huh.
So I can't unsee that.
And listeners, we hope that you are smart. We know that you are smarter than that. And it doesn't make us like crazy or anything like that. You can do something about plants that are ailing, but it's not quite that simple. It's just not quite that simple.
No, these are complex systems plants. They are actually somewhat complicated. It's not rocket science, as Dr. Alan Armitage likes to say, and I agree with that. It's not rocket science, but it is a little bit more complicated than scanning a plant and it telling you exactly what that plant needs. Because you can scan a plant that is brown with leaves wilting, and it can be too much water and it can be too little water. They present very similarly, with very slight differences that really the human eyeball needs to see, not a quick "Mm."
And the human eyeball knows what the human may or may not have done. Oops, I've been out of town for 3 weeks. This could be a problem. It's probably too little water. Or, oh, I'm the kind of plant person who kills them with kindness and I've been adding too much. And, you should just investigate it more scientifically and empirically. Don't think that an app is going to solve all your problems. I don't even know if it's worth it. What do you think?
No.
In a word.
In a word, no. And maybe it's fun. It's interesting perhaps to some people. And that's the thing. These are clickbaity, a lot
Yeah.
of them.
Right.
They're very clickbaity. And you and I were also, you forwarded me another one, which I bet you didn't watch.
I watched at least 2 minutes of that one.
Oh, okay. And actually this one I was not horrified by it. It's actually a decent gardening channel. Actually, it's called The Gardening Channel by a a young man from New Jersey. When I say young man, I have to change my
Well,
voice.
I mean, this is all relative, and this is the population compared to you and me, sweets.
It is. All right.
Mhm.
So he was experimenting with the idea of putting a banana in the bottom of a tomato plant and seeing how that would go over the season. And the frame that introduces it is something like put a banana to help your tomatoes, or use bananas to help your tomatoes. And then there's pictures of bananas in the earth, and so it's very clickbaity. It's going to get him the 2.1 million views that it did get him. And he's got, 1.5 million subscribers on that channel. And he is a very decent, enthusiastic, fun gardener. But I did have to laugh at some of the experiment, in that he used Super Sweet 100, which is one of the best,
Easiest,
easiest.
most exuberant. And he didn't compare it to, and here's it, next to my other super sweet where I didn't bury 2
Oh,
bananas
he did.
underneath.
He did. That's because you didn't watch.
Oops, caught.
Caught in the act, Leslie. I had to go through 8 ads, okay? 8 ads to get to this.
Meanwhile, I'm off doing something much more fun. Tell me
Well, you're
about the comparison data. I would like to know.
So he had planted a super sweet next to it, and he had planted super sweets in other areas of this, not a permaculture garden, but he calls it a forest garden, or he's trying to do that, trying to make the most out of your land. And the one next to it was very vigorous, and it was, perhaps the tomatoes were a little less red, maybe just
Okay.
ever so slightly. But the problem is that the tomato that was in the back that did the absolute best did not have a banana in the hole,
Oops.
but it was planted where the old chicken coop had been.
Oh, that's a clue.
Which he absolutely said this could be it. And so, after getting clickbaited into this channel, basically, he says, and I think I wrote it down. He says, "I'm not saying that putting a banana under your plant is going to make your plant completely disease resistant. I'm just saying that we thought it was a cool idea, and we thought it might help a little bit."
And get a few views.
And get a few views. And if you have extra bananas sitting around and you don't want to make banana bread, then you can put them in a hole. It
Or
wasn't
your compost pile, please. You could spread the wealth of that, very high amount of potassium, which is one of the big 3 that all plants need. So it's really cool. Literally, the clickbait thing was a patch of soil with bananas sticking half out of the ground. And I did find another in my very small amount of research, that seemed to indicate that you could grow a banana from sticking it in the ground. And that, folks, is not true. It actually needs a root system, and it's not going to get one from a
not unless
supermarket banana.
you were in the tropics and the seeds of the banana actually germinated. Then you
Then
could.
and
Yes.
and you probably should buy a lottery ticket too, because that that was
I don't
lucky.
think that's gonna happen in my mid-Atlantic climate. So with regards to the banana one, I really can't go off on that in any way, because, again, he's a very nice young man with a great channel and obviously enthusiastic about gardening. Not a complete scientific controlled experiment, but he tried to give it something, and maybe that brings other people into gardening, and that's not such a terrible thing.
Of course
It's
it's
a
not.
terrible thing that I had to sit through 8 ads. Um, and, but we all got to make a living, which is the reason, I think, and this did occur to me as I was watching this, that obviously this is for clicks, it's for eyeballs on ads, so that things can be monetized. And that's why I like books. This is why I get so much information from my library and from research papers and all of that sort of thing, because I don't want to get sucked down a rabbit hole of an ad. I don't want to be interrupted in my thought process by an ad. And on Garden Rant, where we have to have third party ads in order to just be able to keep the site running without us all paying to write, we have readers that get upset at that a lot because there's ads there, but they can scroll past them very quickly. On YouTube, on the video channels, you can't do that. You have to wait. And so, again, this is why I really love books. Please don't stop writing books, people. Don't stop putting good information out there.
So let me attack this from another angle. I just thought it was really, just very cool to watch. So I'm really used to seeing you get upset about things because you write for Garden Rant and you take umbrage. But the very last episode, we had dear sweet Bree, the plant lady,
It
Bree Arthur.
She's obviously got you fooled.
Well, she had a little moment. She had a moment, and here's what she said. I'm going to quote her. She's saying this to us. She said, "Garden communication is infinitely more difficult because of TikTok, because there's so much bad information out there." And then she said, "And I'm not even on TikTok." And I said, "But then how do you know?" And she said, "Because people come up to me and ask me all the time about this thing. Did you see it? And does it work?" And I respond, "No, that person is stupid. And you shouldn't take advice from that person on TikTok. And now you're making their bad advice my problem, which is super irritating because if you would just had listened to me in the first place, you would have gotten it right. And oh my God, I'm losing patience for this stupid world." Brie Arthur said that. And so she's not even on TikTok. We are on TikTok. We now have 5 followers.
I don't even. I wouldn't even know how to go see that.
Don't worry, it's all repeated content. I'm like, "Oh, I made a video. I'll throw it on all these things."
Please tell me
Um,
you're not doing any naked dances. There's no
I
bananas.
I know, but you are on TikTok. But here's the deal with me and social media. It's like I vomit things up and I don't stick around to see who catches it. So I did check our totals and we had 2 new followers. I have no idea why because I'm barely putting any hashtags on these things. But I
This is a
know
great sell.
yeah.
Go straight to our TikTok account.
Everybody go. No, it's the same thing that we put on Instagram. I'm just trying to see if there are any suckers out there. Um,
So you are
but
actually guilty of the same
I'm
exact
guilty of
thing.
this stuff, but we're not putting bad information out there. And I think there is some clickbaity stuff that is actually not good gardening information. And because I didn't do any research for this episode, I have 0 examples of that.
Well, it's a very different media world over the last 15 years. And there are large companies that are taking advantage of that by throwing products and plants at influencers who, grow them for that. They have the unboxing. And I remember so clearly one particular influencer who had uh, gotten a massive box of annuals from a company that I won't name, and for this new greenhouse that she was doing, and she had a huge following, so it was smart of the company to send these to her. And the unboxing, so cool, so cool. And then in the fall, one of her more truthful posts of showing the reality of cleaning up the greenhouse and how ugly things were at that moment. And you look in the greenhouse and there's all of these old dead plants still in their very recognizable pots
Oops.
laying on their sides that never got taken care of, never got put away, never got put in the garden. And I thought that is what's wrong with.
But that is also what's real, unfortunately. I mean, you and I can be guilty of that, not on that scale. And hopefully we're not pretending like we planted those plants. I'll speak to the truth of it. Like, oops, forgot to do that. Oops, did not bring those plants in over the winter and we got down to 9 degrees. Now I'm shopping. Who knows if this person was trying to cover up for it. I think our message, what is our message? Our message is just be careful.
Be
Be careful out
discerning.
there. Be safe. Oh no, you hate that.
I hate that. Be smart. Be
Be
smart.
smart.
And be discerning in what you're bringing in, and don't just think because you Google it that it is the way, the truth, and the life, because or the light. Because it isn't necessarily. And now with AI, which is just sort of parsing a lot of information, some of which is good and some of which is bad, you can have even another level on it. So get yourself some really good reference books. I am serious, people. Get some good reference books to go back to. Have some really established voices and some great sites to go to first for information.
If you're in a hurry and the phone is in your pocket and your hands are dirty and you can't go inside and you need that information, maybe just Marianne speaks the truth. The books are the answer. But don't go to one source if you're just quickly on your phone. Like, I'm pretty sure rabbits eat petunias. Let me just check this. And so I just checked it from chat. And then I'm like, do I trust chat? Not really. So I just checked it from one other thing. And I'm like, yeah, rabbits eat petunias. I'm not buying those. I bought Sweet Alyssum instead. So you can cross-reference if you're in a hurry, but books are the answer for sure.
And I want to be really clear. It's not like this is, hucksters and elixir salesmen have not been around. Because they have.
Oh, who's your guy that you were talking about
Yeah,
earlier?
Susan Harris's guy on Garden Rant. In fact, her first post on Garden Rant, or no, it wasn't on Garden Rant. It was on her own blog about Jerry Baker. Many of you may not have any idea who this is, and half of you went, "Oh yeah, Jerry Baker," who died a few years ago, and who spent his career talking about all the different magic elixirs that you could make from dish soap and tobacco juice, weak coffee, and all of these different things. And then you're just dosing your garden all the time. And he had a PBS show. Scientifically, there might have been this much truth in some of the things that he was talking about, but
here's my question on that. Was he selling the snake oil or just telling people how to make it at home?
No, he was telling people how to make it at home, but that in itself was the moneymaker because he had the PBS show, he had speaking engagements, he had books, he had pamphlets. You'll see those pamphlets in thrift stores now. Susan's article is called Jerry Baker's Quackery Continues After His Death. And, and this
Poor guy. He's not here to defend himself, literally.
And this is the article, and I'll link to both of these on the show notes. But this is the article that actually brought Susan Harris into Garden Rant because Amy Stewart and Elizabeth Licata and Michelle Owen saw it and saw how irate she was over this idea that just spray everything with tobacco juice and that'll just be great. And they said, "Hey, we like the cut of your jib." And they brought her on board. And so I'll link to both of those articles. But again, it's not the first time that this sort of stuff happens. We've all got angles. They've been selling snake oil for a long time. But if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. These are complex systems, and you are better off in the long run adding to your knowledge base by researching a little bit more because it's going to stick in your brain. Because let me tell you, scanning something with your phone, it's not going to stick in your brain. It's going to tell you in the moment, but it's not going to stick in your brain. Looking for something, actively researching is going to have it stick in your brain.
So one sip more. Do you have something to sip on?
I do. Little gin and tonic. Cheers. Thank you for that sip of quackery.
We're drinking the snake oil. All right. See you next time.